Check one,
Check one, two.
Check. Cool. Perfect. All right, guys. Welcome to the Electric City Music Conference. If you're just getting here, you weren't here earlier, thanks for waking up early, showing up. Right now, I have with me two good friends of mine, two of the best in the business. We have Johnny Popko from the Popko Project and Fuzz.
Thank you.
Rich Howells from Northeast PA Scene. And I'd just like to say, Rich, I got a comment at 7 o'clock in the morning from somebody asking me why the award winners from last night weren't posted yet. And I just replied, no. That's all you get from me at 7 o'clock in the morning when an event ends at 2 a.m.
Weren't you live streaming until like 1:30?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too, is people expect that we can be in like 10 places at once and stream outside and inside, and it's like, yeah, that's not happening. Also, show up to things.
Right, 100%. So this panel is called From the Press Pit, a musician's guide to working with the media. So these guys have been at it for a long time. I think they're some of the best at what they do. I also think that they can offer some very unique insights to bands that are at the level where they're playing a conference that you can then take and evolve into anything that you do. So to start, could you guys each briefly introduce yourself and explain what you look for in an artist, or in your case, Rich, a story before you decide to cover it?
You want to start? Doesn't matter. Go ahead. I'll go. As Joe said, I go by Popko. It's my last name. I've been in media. I actually just celebrated 20 years on September 1st of this month. Started off at The Weekender when The Weekender was an amazing product. I'm not going to try and crap on it in its current state, but unfortunately, media has evolved and changed, and it kind of crushed what a print publication was. But I grew up there. I had a lot of fun there, and that's kind of where I started my journey in media and entertainment and working with bands. And then since then, I've been working in radio. Where I do an afternoon shift on Fuzz, 3 to 6 p.m., and then I host the Popko Project radio experience on Saturdays or Sundays. Depends on if we have a Rail Riders game, because that makes sense, on an alternative station. We won't go there either, but it's a great honor for me to be able to host that show and share music from our local community and hopefully, introduce you guys to more ears. And I do that every, like I said, Saturday or Sunday. And what I look for is just having your ducks in a row, to put it simply. Just, a good quality product, whether it's, the way it sounds, obviously good music is good music. But just having your ducks in a row, and whether it's, the audio and any kind of images. I do a lot of promotion on social media for that show to help, to lift that up a bit. So just having your ducks in a row and coming to the table with a good quality product.
I am Rich Howells, the founder and editor of NEPA Scene, which is the leading arts and entertainment media source in northeastern Pennsylvania for 11 years, actually, this month. And it's an independent media source. We do articles, photos, videos, podcasts, live streams, and more every single week without missing a week. And we also host an open mic 2 nights a week, one at Union Vapors 570 in Dixon City, and one right here at the V-Spot on Tuesdays, which has been running for about maybe 8 years now. And the open mic itself actually has been running 11 years at a couple different venues over time, but we're there. So my background, to sum it up quick, is that I was a print journalist, like Johnny over here, where we actually worked at The Weekender together at one point. I started as a freelancer. I became a staff writer at a little Scranton newspaper, not the Scranton Times, the Times Leader Scranton edition, which became Go Lackawanna. We did some really great independent journalism there. We won a bunch of awards. and then the parent company that finally figured out, like, oh, you guys are doing something good, so let's get rid of that. So they were bleeding money left and right at the time. So a lot of the smaller publications like us got cut. Thankfully, at that same time, a position opened up at the Weekender. So I jumped over to that, and a lot of my passion was in arts and entertainment coverage anyway. So it just worked out for me, and I did. I signed up as a staff writer, and then the editor also quit. So then they were like, well, do you want to just be the editor? And they did put me through some trials first to make sure I could do it, and did. So then I was the editor for 2 years there, and then I got laid off, as many of us did. So I kind of took all my ideas and the things that I wanted to do with the Weekender that I didn't get to do, and all of that experience, and put it into launching an EPA scene by myself. And I started that up in 11 years ago, and we're still going strong. And I have a few friends here and there who help me out, doing photos or helping me do live streams and things like that. But for the most part, I'm writing the majority of the content, recording the majority of the content, that sort of stuff. And then in terms of what I'm looking for a story, really, I love to, especially with the open mic, it's been great to be able to just hang out with people and just kind of chat and kind of figure out what their story is. And if I think it sounds really interesting, then I might go with it. And obviously, I also take pitches all the time of people just sending me messages and things like that. So if it's a case of like you're just kind of blindly saying, hey, I think it'd be good for the podcast, or it'd be good for this or that or whatever, I'll kind of, before I respond, I'll kind of research a little bit and see if you have maybe some stuff online that seems interesting, that maybe seems like it could turn into a kind of story, and then try to fit that content to the person. Sometimes they want to just promote a new single or something like that, so for that I'd suggest more of an article. Or if maybe they have a new album and there's a lot more to talk about, and I feel like maybe they could do more of a long-form conversation, then I'll say, okay, maybe we'll do the NEPA Scene podcast. And we do that as a live show every week on Wednesday nights from like 7 to 8, 8:30, sometimes 9 if it goes long. And we have some really cool uncensored conversations, which is kind of stuff that makes us try to stand out from the mainstream media that's out there. So I hope that answers that question.
I forgot to mention my podcast too.
Yes, you should.
I focus on the radio, but to piggyback on Rich, I also host the Popko Project podcast, which is separate from the radio show, where we kind of do a deep dive into who you guys are, what you do, why you do it, goals for the future, and kind of just uncensored conversation to get people to know about you. So with that being said, when you're reaching out to these different medias, make sure that your presentation is good there too, because I get reached out to by like pages that look like they're spam pages. Right. And they're like harassing me, and it's like, your cover image is a cartoon, and it doesn't even match what your band is. It's like, if you're a cartoon band, that's fine, whatever. But it's like, I don't like.
If Gorillaz is messaging you, sure,
yes,
then
if it's
great.
Absolutely, 100%.
Johnny's big timing us because he's friends with the Gorillaz. That's all.
I have interviewed a lot of national bands, I'll have you know. Everclear, Bowling for Soup, Breaking Benjamin, The Verve Pipe. Might be too old for the audience here. But 90s.
Joe
90s
Cap.
lives forever.
So fun fact. Now, there's a lot of people from outside the area, and there's a lot of people who are young. The Weekender magazine at one point in time in northeastern Pennsylvania was how you figured out where you were going to go that weekend and what you were going to do. It was about this thick, and it had every bar and venue, had ads, they had the listings for all the different things, and like many things in print, it went away. But how that ties us all together is baby Joe Cavison's first internship in college was at the Weekender magazine for John Popko.
I don't remember this at all.
I was a journalism and graphic design intern, is what I was brought in for. And Johnny Popko on day one gave me a camera and sent me to a strip club to cover a beer pong tournament.
Where's the? I don't see where the problem is.
Now, number one, you can't take photos in a strip club. So misjudged there. Number two, my internship coordinator lost their goddamn mind, and I no longer had an internship at the Weekender anymore. It was stripped the day that I was there, when I had to write my weekly report and submit my progress. So
I want to defend myself though. You weren't an intern directly under me. It sounds like you were an intern under Steve Husted.
yes, I never met him.
Yeah,
though.
so he was the one that said, you know, maybe John's having this event, and he instructed you to go cover it. I had no involvement there really.
Yeah.
He was playing in the beer pong tournament.
I'm a 26 consecutive week champion beer pong player at a strip club. My claim to fame. Thankfully, I ended that before I met my wife.
I didn't. So, we've all known each other for a long time, so I can speak to the credibility of these guys, and I still think John's the one that sent me there. However,
I still don't see a problem with it.
I don't either. East Stroudsburg University.
Women are beautiful.
They didn't see it. East Stroudsburg University did not appreciate the weekly progress report. So let's talk about the
Real
initial
life experience.
pitch. What makes a press release, or in today's day, maybe an email or a message, stand out in your inbox? But more importantly, what makes you hit delete immediately?
So, unfortunately, I don't get enough of press releases from local artists. I don't think a lot of them know that they should be doing that. Let me set the stage. Media is in absolute dire straits right now. When it comes to the big guys, the small guys, all of us. Absolutely dire straits. There's a reason why they're constantly putting up paywalls or begging you for donations or running fundraisers and all kinds of things like that, because it's not unless you have a team of advertising people to get money to you and sell ads and things like that, which are absolutely not what they used to be in terms of like what I do, for example. It's really hard to sell web ads. It's really hard to sell sponsorships to people. They might love the content, but they don't want to spend the money and that sort of thing. So there's a lot of things with that. So coming into, with that in mind, I only have so much time in the day that I can sit down and write articles for everybody and do the preparation needed to do a good podcast that lasts, an hour or sometimes 2 hours of conversation if I don't have enough material to work with. So I have to do a lot of research and a lot of looking people up and things like that. So if you have that information out there readily available for me, if you're writing press releases about like, hey, I have a new EP and here's a little bit about it and that sort of thing, I can do things like publish the press release right away. I edit everything, of course, before it goes on the website and fact check everything, make sure everything's good before I publish it. But things like that, I can immediately get that out there for you, as opposed to you're contacting me for an article. Okay, now we got to sit down and do an interview. Then I have to take those answers and I have to form an article around that. And that, takes a lot of time and energy. And I'm happy to do it, but I only have so much time in the week to do that. So if you want kind of immediate sort of coverage, and the same goes for if you contact the big newspapers like the Scranton Times or somebody like that, they're also their staffs have been cut down to absolutely nothing. They've all been bought out by these hedge funds that have sold off all their resources, and all of their best reporters have been laid off or taken major pay cuts or whatever else. So there are a lot of people who are strapped, and they don't really have the time and energy sometimes to put in, unfortunately, to the arts and entertainment section. They're worried about just getting the news out. They feel like that's the most important thing. That's what people go to a newspaper for, and that stuff is kind of extra. Now, obviously, I don't see it that way, being arts and entertainment media. That's my number one thing. But for them, it might not be. So if you're trying to pitch to the local papers and things like that, having that kind of information ready to go where they can be like, you know what, yeah, okay, I can take this and publish a couple of paragraphs on their upcoming show or their EP release or album release or something like that, And at least it gets the information out there. You maybe didn't get a full-on sit-down interview or a phone call interview or anything like that, but at least you got something out there. So I really recommend that people do that kind of stuff and have great, good high-resolution photos ready to go, things like that they can use, because a lot of times they also don't have photographers ready. I take a ton of photos. Every time I do an event, I'm live streaming it like I am now, or I'm taking photos, or I'm doing something. So I always have a backlog of stuff ready to go if somebody contacts me. If Squid here says, hey, I got something coming out, I already have the art ready for that to go. He doesn't need to send me a picture. I have that, but I don't always have that with a lot of people. So make sure you have photos ready to go, and credit your photographers, because they also work really hard.
What was the question?
What makes you press delete on an email or somebody contacting you immediately? Like, what's the worst thing somebody could do?
Well, like I said, I mean, I get messages via social media, and like the profile image is a cartoon or whatever it might be. I just don't take that kind of stuff seriously. I like to be like reached out to on a personal level. Obviously, the press releases are good, and if you have a PR team that can kind of facilitate that for you, I would recommend doing that too. A lot of my stuff, a lot of my content that is a national level comes from a PR team. Actually, Joe is the one who set me up with them. I think it's still Tori, right?
Yep.
And they do all that kind of outreach. They provide the photos, they provide the content, so it's easy, like Rich said, to kind of sift through that. But just have an idea of what and why you're asking to be featured, or what you're doing. Not just like, hey, I want to be on your podcast, or hey, write me a story. Like, have a goal in mind as to what you want to do and why you want to do it, and that'll go a long way. Because if you don't have that, I'm like Rich. Like, I have a full-time job. So the podcast for me is very much a passion project. I just published episode 247, which I think, was it 90% of podcasts don't make it past episode 5. So I'm not trying to like use that as like, oh, look at me, I'm so cool. But it's dedication. It's a lot of time on our end, and so therefore I think you should make sure that you have a goal in mind when you're doing that.
Yeah, and definitely, if you have a pitch, I would say save it for something really big. Like somebody will just be like, hey, I'm a local musician and I play around. Please do a story on me or something like that. And I'm like, well, you didn't give me any background about yourself, or what makes you stand out, or even what your genre is. And maybe a link to your music is that's great and all, but it doesn't really always tell the story. Obviously I listen to a lot of local music, so I'm always giving new stuff a chance and that sort of thing, but a lot of it just comes down to that time. So I feel like if you really want to make sure that you get that article or podcast or whatever about you, have something ready to promote. I'm big on that, especially with the podcast. If you have an album that is in the works, I don't really want to talk about it being in the works. I want to talk about it being done, so that if people tune into the podcast and they're listening to you talk and they're like, wow, this guy sounds really interesting, and I love what he has to say about this or that, and the music he's describing sounds really cool, I'm going to go check that out. And then they go to check it out and there's nothing out there. That just defeated the whole purpose of what we're doing here. Whereas if you have an album out to promote that we can talk about and dive into or whatever, then people can go, wow, okay, that sounds really interesting. I'm going to go right now to Spotify and I'm going to save them and I'm going to listen to them. So it really helps to have something that you want to promote ready to go, as opposed to kind of coming to us and being like, can you come up with a reason to talk to me? Can you come up with a story? It's like, maybe have the story in your head, of what you think it might makes you stand out, and then pitch that to us. I think that helps a lot.
And not just us, but any there's so many different podcasts out there, and if you're not taking advantage of those, that's kind of a foolish thing to do.
Yeah, it's very silly to feel like, oh, well, I'm buddies with Popko here, so I'm not going to talk to any other podcasts. That's crazy. We don't think like that.
No.
That's silly. pitch to everybody, try to talk to everybody. Make your own little mini press tour. Find every little media outlet in the area and contact them all. And then you can use that too. Like, hey, I was just featured on Popko's things. If you want to do some, if you want to learn more about me and that sort of thing. So it's like, oh, okay. Well, if he thought they were good, I probably will think they're good too. So.
Yeah, and also there are 2 other stations in this market that feature local music. So if you're looking for more exposure, definitely reach out to them. I don't think they do it as well as I do, but it is out there. It does exist. I mean, there's a guy that's been doing it for, he'll tell you, 20-some years. And there's another station that does it, that's been doing it for maybe 8 years. But it's at your reach. It's there, so definitely take advantage of it. 97.9X does one. It's called Locals Only. That's Sunday nights at 7. And then the other one is Sunday nights at 9. It's called Music on the Menu, and that's on the river. Allen Stout, right.
Another weekend.
Oh, well, thank you.
Alan is?
I am, Joe. Get it right. No, I appreciate that. I try, so I do, as much as you guys are reaching out to us, like I do my best to really try, and I'm hounding people for music. I think I hounded James Barrett for his new song for 3 weeks before he sent it to me. And every time I texted him, he's like, I'll get right on it. I'll get right on it. Last night, Portland Frank had a new song they just played that's coming out in a week or 2. I texted him when he was on stage saying, dude, that song is killer. Send it to me. Like, I want to feature your music. I really do. And regardless if anyone's listening or not, maybe 5 people are listening, maybe no one's listening. But I also put it on social media after the fact because it's hard to, tune into the radio or on the app that we have that we can listen to it live. It's hard to find time. So I always try and put it on social media after the fact. So if you want to hear it, if you want to share it or whatever you want to do. But I do a lot of work. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. I'm just very passionate about what you guys do. I said last night on stage that I think we have the best local music scene in the entire country, and I would put it up against anybody else across the country. And you guys are awesome.
Nobody is in, especially local media, but in general, because they don't like what they do. There is very few of us left, and we are there because we are absolutely passionate about the job and about you guys and about reporting. Otherwise, we absolutely would be doing 100 other things.
Yes, I make $0 on my podcast. 0.
Same.
And I spend hours a week on it. Again, I'm not trying to guilt anybody. It's just, it is what it is. I mean, I get paid for my full-time job working for Fuzz, but my primary job for those stations in Rock 107 is sales. I don't get paid for hosting the local show on Fuzz. I do it because I love it, and I think it's important to the area.
So I think piggybacking off of Frank's comment there, what's the best way for an artist to build a genuine, long-term relationship with a media contact rather than making a one-time request, this is something that I'm really big on. I think that if you develop a long-term relationship with anybody, then you're going to benefit long-term, obviously. But I think that's when somebody thinks of you when they have opportunities as opposed to just when you're asking. So, like, if I create a real relationship with somebody and something comes up, that's when they pop into my head. I may not think of that person for 6 months, but when there's a perfect opportunity, that's when I want to pass it along to them. And I do that with like Rich and Popko. If somebody's like, I need somewhere to send a band, or I have this national band that needs coverage or whatever, I kick it to them. Maybe it doesn't always work out, but I try to do that because you guys are in my head to pop it to. So if you're a band, how do they get in your head like that?
I mean, for me, and how I operate with anything I do, it's you create a partnership. It's not a one-way street. It's liking content on social media, sharing it with your friends, doing these podcasts. Nothing burns me more than when I spend an hour, not only an hour or more on the conversation, but then hours afterwards creating the YouTube cover image and all those pieces of art, and then the clips, and then sharing them. Nothing burns me more than when the band that you featured can't go as far as just either accepting the collab invite on Instagram so it lives on their page too,
Yep.
or sharing the content that was created. It's just like what did we just waste our time? Like, did you waste your time? Did I waste my time? Like, what's going on here? So, just doing small things like that. Like, I mean, I'll spend hours on a podcast, and then it takes 2 seconds to hit accept to the collab invite, or it takes 2 seconds to share that content. And when people can't do that or don't do that, it really, I try not to get like worked up over it, but that's like defeating to a degree.
I can echo all of that. I've had people on the podcast. I've written articles about people. We do things like and you do this with your radio show too, like song premieres and things like that. So with something like that, we take time to do an article, which I really, I'm very passionate about writing personally. So I love to do those types of things. And for a premiere, for example. The whole point is that we are, helping you market this in a unique way where, for example, you can just upload your new single and tell everybody, hey, guys, I have a new single out. Isn't that great? And then you get a bunch of, likes and comments and stuff like that. And then a couple of days later, it's completely dead in the water. Nobody's streaming it anymore, or nobody's talking about it, and you're trying to reshare it. And it's like people already saw it, so they're not liking it anymore, and they're scrolling by. So, our solution to something like that is like, okay, well then let's make it an event. Like this is a song premiere, and we're going to get into like what the song is about and why it's important. A little background about the artist as well, and that sort of thing. So I take the time to do all of that. And then when the song comes out, they don't share the article that has the song embedded in it. They just share the song, and they do the same thing that they just did. And it's like, guys, I spent all this time on that. I also got you into Google News as well, because all of our articles, just like the Scranton Times or everybody else, go into Google News. So now you're getting better search results because of that article. Because when people are searching for you on the internet, you want them to find the absolute best thing that they can find. So when the first thing, if they Google you, comes up as maybe your Facebook, Instagram, and then immediately a really nice detailed article about you and your background and your new song and stuff like that, people are like, wow, okay, this is professional. They take that more seriously. And we're doing this to help you, and you're not helping yourself, But in terms of, to get back to your original question of like making connections, I find the best connections are in-person connections, and I hate saying that as an internet guy that runs an internet website that, is on the internet and not in real life. But to cover the scene, I have to be out at shows all the time. And I say I have to. I love to be out at shows every week. And the open mic allows me on Mondays and Tuesdays to do that. And you don't even have to perform. Just coming out and seeing you support the other artists, or just checking it out for a couple hours. That means a lot to me, because those events are some of the only ways that I can make money from the V-Spot or from Union Vapors or whoever who pays me to run an event and bring people to their space. So when you guys come out, that means that they're going to continue to do that, and that keeps me going. So that's great. But also, on a personal level, I just see it as like you're supporting any PA scene or me personally just by showing up, and that means a lot to me. And so then when somebody who I see on a regular basis wants to pitch me on something, I'm way, way more interested, because I've already also gotten to know them a little bit. And now, like, I'm already writing the interview in my head because I know you enough, like I'm already thinking about, oh, these are the things we can talk about, or, oh, they mentioned this the one time when we had that one conversation really late at night after everything closed, and I'm like, I'm going to bring that up. I'm going to talk about that. So those in-person things, and going out to shows and stuff like that. If I see that you're also going out and supporting other bands and stuff too, that also means a lot, and I think is worthy of that extra mile that somebody should go for you. So yeah, I really like those in-person connections. I think that that makes a big difference.
Yeah, and supporting the local scene, your fellow artists and musicians. I always hesitate to talk about this because I don't get out as much as I'd like to. I've got 2 kids at home, a wife, and full-time job, and it's hard to get out as much as I'd like to. So I hope people like understand that. But I mean, being out and supporting, like, I mean, I think I go like twice a year, and once is for this weekend at least. But you know, just support each other.
A lot of artists ask, like, how do I get booked, or how do I break in, and how come all these people aren't interested in doing shows with me or whatever? Like, they don't know who you are. They have no clue. They've never seen you before. So maybe if you start showing up and hanging out at shows and things like that, and I get it, everybody else has busy schedules. You got jobs, you got kids, you got stuff to do. You know, you need time to relax and sit on the couch and watch Netflix. I get that, you know, but when you can, you know, try to, you know, arrange your schedule a little bit. I think people don't prioritize that stuff enough. If you're part of you want to be part of the music scene, you have to say, okay, well, you know, on Friday, usually I do sit home like a bum, but I'm going to make sure that this Friday I go out and I go to this specific show and I hang out. And when people see you come out, like, okay, yeah, I know who you are. I would definitely want to play a show with you. You get into a conversation, you talk to people, that means the world to them, and then they're way more interested.
So I have one more question. I want to keep it brief because then I also want to give people a time to ask questions. But, sorry, I scrolled down too far. So how should an artist, because this I think is something where a lot of people stumble, but it's like the biggest part of, I think, growing and learning and going to the next level. How should you handle rejection or being ignored? And when is it appropriate to follow up? And when is it time to move on? So your advice for that, and we'll keep it a little bit brief, but I think that that's huge because there's a way to burn a bridge forever and there's a way not to.
For me, it's just all about personal respect. You know, respecting, you know, people's time, energy, work, that sort of thing. And, you know, like when I was a kid, and obviously I have not changed, I'm still the nerd that I was then, but, you know, people, if people picked on me, it really, like, got to me and whatever, and nowadays everything just kind of rolls off my back and I don't care what you have to say. You reach a certain age that you just don't care about those things anymore. Like, it doesn't bother you. So people tend to, like, if I don't get back to them right away, you know, sometimes it's you know, it's like the creepy guys in your DMs who, you know, they try to hit on you at first, and then it's like, well, you're ugly anyway. I never liked you in the first place, you know, that sort of thing. That happens to us sometimes too, you know. Well, I never liked any PA scene. It sucks anyway. I wouldn't want to be on there. And like, yeah, okay, well, that's stupid. Because obviously you wouldn't have contacted me if that's what you really thought, you know, like that's silly. It also means like, oh, so you were just using me then. You don't really think like you don't like the what we do. You just kind of want to use this for, you know, some kind of publicity for you, and then you want to move on or whatever. I just feel mostly you know, people are really cool. Like the music scene is around here is genuinely really positive, and a lot of really people who are cool and supportive. Like, don't, and I said this a few times last night, don't think social media is real life, because social media is horrible, and people post the weirdest, nastiest things on there. But then when you just talk to people one-on-one, sometimes even the same people who post that stuff are not really like that. They just seem to get all their vitriol out there. But I feel like the best approach is the nicest approach. Like, be nice, be genuine, be cool. Like, just and understand that, like, sometimes we're just overwhelmed. We just have a lot going on, and we will get back to you at some point, or, you know, figure out, you know, okay, yeah, you know, he must be busy right now, but don't take that in a discouraging way. Like, oh, he must hate me and he hates my music and it sucks or whatever. It's 99.9% of the time absolutely not the case. It's just a matter of just having the time and energy, and you know, I'm getting older, forgetfulness, you know, like, oh man, yeah, that guy messaged me like 2 weeks ago and I meant to respond, and I got caught up in this and then I didn't, you know, like, stuff happens in the same way that stuff happens in your life too. So like, just try to be cool, be friendly, and be understanding that these people are they're doing it because they care about you and they want to do it. And sometimes it's all in the timing.
I think rejection is part of life. We live in a society where everyone gets a trophy, and I don't operate that way. I don't expect a trophy for everything I do. In fact, there's a lot that I could do better. I know that. I've submitted to interview artists probably way out of my league, and either I don't get responded to or I get told no. And it's you look in the mirror and say, well, what can I do better? Is it because I don't have enough followers or enough views or whatever it might be? Maybe I don't interview as well as I should. So it's a good look in the mirror and say, well, what could I do better? And maybe that's something that you guys can also consider as well, because none of us are Aerosmith, none of us are Joe Rogan, none of us are whatever, you name it. But it's strive to be better, and like it might just be an accident. Like no one he saw it and didn't get it, or I saw it and I didn't respond. But sometimes it's us. Sometimes it's us, and we need to kind of just do better.
And I don't know if this is a common thing with you guys too, but 100 people could say like, "You're awesome. That was so cool. That's a great song. You're the best." And the one guy who's like, "That sucked," and that just sticks in your head for the rest of the night. And you just keep thinking about why would he say that? What is about that? And so in the same way that 100 people were nice to me, I'm remembering all of that one guy who's like, this sucks or that sucks or whatever. I don't remember that. So when you try to be friendly to me later, I'm like, nah, you're the guy who said I sucked. That's not happening. We're not doing this because I have so little time. I'm not going to waste it on somebody like that. I'm not going to waste it on somebody who's negative and putting that kind of energy out in the world. I'm gonna give it to somebody who's putting positivity out there.
So I want to open it up for questions, but first I want everybody to give a round of applause for Rich and Popko. Make sure you check out the Popko project. From what I understand, it's a really good podcast. I've never listened to it. And then check out Northeast PA Scene as well.
He won't even listen to his episodes. That's weird.
No. I've been on it 4 times. Never heard a note.
Remember when I got you? You thought you were going to be episode 200, and you weren't?
Yeah, we talked through a whole episode thinking I was episode 200, and then Johnny big-timed me for the Verve pipe or something.
No, it was Filter.
Even worse. So
I can't watch myself. I can't watch me playing back to me. I hate that. I can't stand it.
Admittedly, I do listen to myself just because I want to get better. I want to do better, not just for myself personally, but if more artists, if more people listen to what I do, they're listening to what you're doing, and that's why I do it. So,
does anybody have any questions?
Man,
anybody? Oh man, you covered everything.
Bueller?
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned trying to form a press corps around a big release.
Yes.
So we're working musicians. We try to play every single weekend, 3 or 4 days if possible.
Sure.
Do you have advice for kind of forming press relations and getting a broader reach when that's kind of more your living? You don't necessarily have those big things that you're promoting. It's more just a constant growth that you're trying to achieve.
Sure.
I have a take on this after you. Go ahead. No, go ahead. You go first. Answer from the expert perspective.
So for little stuff like that, I would just keep kind of sending that along, like a little flyer, a little blurbs, things like that. Especially too, you really have to pay attention to the format. I think, for me, for example, I don't really do a lot of blurb type content, like that sort of stuff. So I might not be the one to reach out for something like that, but you look at the Times and they have maybe a weekend thing that you open up and you see oh, here's a photo of this person who played here. 99% of the time that photo is there or whatever because someone sent it to them, not because they have that on file or whatever ready to go or anything. It's usually somebody sends them, emails them, hey, this is what we do. This is what we sound like and whatever, and we do these events and check that out. And for stuff that's a regular event, there's going to be a week where they're putting those listings together, and they're going, man, I don't have a, oh right, that person who keeps sending me that thing. Yep, I'm going to put that in there this week, and that sort of thing. So a lot of it is just kind of keep doing that and trying to tailor to what that person does specifically. So, look at the media source and do it that way. So I guess my other advice would be to make a list, like kind of go down a list of like, okay, here's all the media sources I know of in the area, and maybe, reach out to one of us and we could give you some of our contacts as well. Here are the people to talk to, and then just kind of email them every week. Some people just do it as a big email to everybody. They just copy everybody on it, and that's fine. I'm not, a personal note is great, and it feels better, and maybe people will respond better to that. But I'm not offended if you're just putting us all on a list and we're all just getting the same stuff at the same time. That's fine too, And a lot of people, some of them prefer, some media sources prefer that.
So I'm gonna take a little bit. John, do you mind?
No,
So-
I'm good.
So this one, I think everything Rich said, 100%, right? But I also think like do it on your own. Like you guys become the news source for yourself for things like this, right? Save Rich and Popko and things for that when you're having like your release show or you're having your anniversary show or you're having something where like everything that you've done is accumulated. We're in this spot now where like you guys could every Friday put up a news show, or I don't love skits, but like, have something where like it's a reoccurring thing that comes out every week that says where you're gonna be. A recap of what you've done there. Like do this one on your own, but also, and here's a secret, it shouldn't be a secret, but bands in town, Calendarly, what's happening, like all those websites that generate calendars kill in social media. Any calendar you can find online, go and put all your shows in, anything you guys are doing that you want to show up high in Google when people like search what's happening in Scranton this weekend, like that stuff murders for SEO because it's what it was built for. But bands in town is huge because it also emails your stuff out to people who are around. So like Scranton, it'll do the surrounding areas for you. But like, I don't know, community calendars, like all that stuff like seems like it's like 2008, but like because it's been around so long, Google trusts it as a resource and it's going to lift up that listing. And like it sucks and it takes time, but like it really sucks, like, because it is just like data entry,
It's
right?
tedious,
And
yeah.
like for our creative brains, like of people who have that type of personality, like that sucks to do. But like I have an old school PR person at the college I work for, and like one day a week, like that's all she's doing for like our open houses, our all that stuff, and it's just like it's coming up, and we just rank so well for it. So like having it and use keywords. So like I love you guys. Cowgirl pills is not going to be a very searched term, right? So like dance party, DJ night, like use keywords after your name. Like keep your name in there so it's you, but like add a descriptor to the title so that they know, like disco night, whatever you're doing that night, like add that in there because it's just going to generate a higher rank for you. And I think it'll kill for you guys doing stuff like that and anybody, but it'll really help, especially if you're going out of the area to get into the zeitgeist.
There's also a couple cool, like around here, and I don't know if this is the same in other areas, but there's like tourism sites like Discover NEPA.
Yep.
And, they're a great one to submit to because they're really responsive because they have like a whole team behind them. There's a lot of money wrapped up in that, involved in advertising and promoting, businesses and things like that. So they love stuff like that. Like send stuff like that to them. Like I never contacted them. I never asked about it. And one day I just noticed that they just started posting the open mic every week. Like it's in their calendar and whatever. I'm like, well, I never sent them that. Because they're also scraping material from the kind of stuff that he's talking about, from bands in town, from Facebook and all that kind of stuff. They literally just took my description from the Facebook event and posted it on their site without me ever having to ask. I'm like, great, okay, that's cool. Like more people are gonna know about it and find out about it through that. I didn't have to do anything at all. But had I maybe done it sooner, maybe I would have got even more of a response sooner. So,
Yeah, the visitors bureaus also have that. Like Visit Luzerne County, and I don't know what Lackawanna is. I think it's just Lackawanna County.
Visit
What-
go Lackawanna, visit
No,
Lackawanna.
whatever. Those
Tatiana Tell works for it.
Yeah,
Reach
I
out
mean
to
their
her.
job is to get people
Yeah.
to the county, so they want to get your message out too. So yeah, they dedicated teams to do that.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Okay.
I'm just thinking, I'm an engineering guy. I don't think promotion, so I really suck at it, but I have a good hand. So, like a press release, I want to do that, but for instance, if I sent you guys a thing about the new album, could I put press release in capital letters, drum whale, whatever, after that? I mean, what could I put in my subject line that might catch you up?
If you could figure it out, let me know. Maybe these guys know. I don't know. I'm in sales too, so I deal with that every day. Is how do you break through the noise, right? I don't have an answer for that. So in your case, especially on a local level, is just a direct contact for me personally. But hopefully these guys have a better answer than that.
So if looking at my email, for example, once you put out there that you are a press person or that you have any kind of press, all of these PR people that you've never met, never talked to in your life, that live in completely different states or in other countries, suddenly sign you up for stuff. So you're just constantly getting stuff. And like some of it, I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe this might be relevant to me at some point. Other times, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna unsubscribe this thing that I never asked to be subscribed to. There's a lot of noise there. So I'm when I'm seeing my inbox fill up every day with some of that kind of stuff, what helps me is like you saying, Scranton artists. In this genre or whatever, Scranton rock artist looking for coverage or something like that. That helps a lot because I'm like, oh, okay, it's actually somebody from this area because that's what we do. We're not reporting on something that's happening in Denver, Colorado that this person just continues to send me stuff about, that is just spamming me over and over again. But, sometimes every once in a while, one of that PR person's touring artists happens to be coming through the area and they're playing at Montage or the Ritz or something like that. So I kind of want to have that stuff. So sometimes I won't unsubscribe to all those people. But yeah, to break through, I would say to look at what that person's, media source's focus is, and try to basically, as few words as you can, show that you are that focus. So like if you are a Scranton rock artist, I'm like, well, those are all things that I talk about on a regular basis. That's going to break through. That's going to make me at least open the email and take a look and see what you have to say.
And we got to put a pin in this, but I have one thing that's probably going to piss 50% of the room off of. Just go to ChatGPT. Tell it who you're trying to reach. Tell them what you are and ask them to write you the best headline you can for an email. And it's going to do better than 90% of us can do. And, there's many debates to be had about AI. There's also the fact that it's unavoidable and nobody's putting a rail on it, so we're going to have to live with it or die by it, right? So go in there and say, I'm trying to reach Rich Howells at Northeast PA Scene. This is what I'm trying to promote. Write me a headline for my email that will appeal to him. And it's going to write you a great email. ChatGPT.com or Gemini or screw the one that Twitter does. But any of those ones that are going to take over. They're going to take over the world soon.
Yeah, it's a
but
tool.
use it as a tool, and it's going to just, there's a lot to be said for and against it. But that'll help you out.
It helps too if like maybe the first couple lines too, you're saying like, hey, Rich, so like I know, oh, you're a human. Okay, you're not somebody who's just found, any PA Scene and you're, making it all one word or you're, screwing it up or something. Like it's not scraped information. It's okay, this is an actual hey, Rich, or I saw the latest podcast you did with this artist. I might maybe be good for that too, or I liked what you had to say about this and that. I'm like, wow, okay. They actually pay attention. They listen to us too, because a lot of people they see media. They're not really seeing us as people, so they're looking at us as well. They're a resource. They're a machine. They're a insert request, they spit out article. That's not how it works. We're just regular everyday people. So if you talk to us like regular everyday people and you show interest, somebody will pitch me about the podcast and then they know nothing about it. Like, oh, it's an in-person thing? I'm like, well, Yeah, I mean, it's literally right there in the video. It's the first thing you see. It's an in-person thing. Oh, it's a live thing? Yeah, it's a live thing. It's right. It's, oh my God, like it's literally like, so they do no research on you, but they expect you to do all the research about them, and that's I find that just off-putting.
Can I say one last word?
Yeah,
Referrals. Like if you said, hey, Vinny from the V Spot sent me your way. I know Vinny. I respect Vinny. He wouldn't lead me in the wrong direction. So if you said that, like, or something similar to that, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, don't lie about it. But, actually, if they did refer you,
Yeah.
yeah.
And Vinny's never led me in the right direction once.
Not
My
last
life.
night either.
Yeah, absolutely not. But all right, guys. So we're gonna put a pin in this. We're gonna start up the next panel with balls in a little bit here. And thank you for being here. Don't go anywhere. The next one should be a lot of fun. This one was a lot of fun. I want to thank you guys one more time. A round of applause
Yeah, thank you guys.
for Rich and Popko.
I'll be hanging around if you have anything else that you want to talk about.
Everybody will be around. Thank you, guys.